we are going to be finishing up Chapter 1 of Project Eden's Garden. You know, get through the trial and everything. Hope that I remember what I was doing. So, without further ado, let's get started!
Let's get this started, shall we? Welcome back to the trial grounds, everyone. Unlike previously, today will be no circus, no mockery woven with stitches and needles. A true, fair, and proper trial will commence. A battle of wits between the blackened and the spotless. I doubt I have to explain the rules to you again. But even so, you must vote for who you believe is the blackened. If the blackened receives the majority of votes, only they will be punished, and the rest of you will resume your killing game experience. However, if you vote for the wrong person, then expect no sympathy from your hosts. All spotless students will meet a tragic end, while the blackened will be granted release from this academy. Happy discussing! We pray for your survival and success.
That voice change kinda caught me off guard.
Can someone please break this silence?
I don't want to talk about this.
Wolfgang
Yeah, that's
deserves
too
justice.
bad.
But putting everyone's lives on the line like this is just cruel.
Oh, crap. Without a lawyer, we're totally screwed.
I mean,
Whenever I turn my head, I keep expecting to see him at his podium.
Oh, don't cry, Toshiko. He's in a better place now, you hear?
Whichever one of you sick bastards did this, whatever it takes, no matter if I have to kick the brains out of every single person here, I'll find you.
Do you really gotta resort to violence?
Let's just stay calm, okay? Making peace with our situation is, the first step in handling it. How the hell can I stay calm when there's a killer on the loose? That bastard is watching us right now, fully content putting our lives on the line.
I have
That's what you call peace?
so far
Being at the mercy
2
of some dickhead
guesses.
silent observer?
One of them,
Well,
I'm gonna actually wait for this
nobody
to...
knows for sure if the killer is even a silent If anything, the killer might try to feign innocence through other means. For instance, pretending to be outspoken about the case.
Ooh.
What the?
Got something to say,
Are you
Grace?
accusing me of something?
Also, let's go, Eloise.
What you did during the investigation seems really suspicious.
What did Grace do?
She stood in front of Wolfgang's dorm room and wouldn't let anyone go inside. Intentionally or not, it really hindered our investigation.
Because of Grace, almost everyone who planned to investigate Wolfgang's dorm gave up and went elsewhere. It was only after some of us started protesting that she finally relented. You know, for someone who seems so adamant about finding Wolfgang's killer, it's odd she tried to conceal potential evidence.
Wanna explain yourself, Grace?
I'm not saying Grace is definitely the killer. I just think we should be cautious of her.
She has an alibi, though.
Huh?
Grace couldn't have murdered anyone, because she went to the game tournament.
Grace attended the tournament?
Does that rule her out from committing the murder?
Well, yeah. We had to be at the dining hall by 9 a.m.-ish, which was like half an hour before the murder. Nobody left the tournament after it started either. Nobody I know of, anyway.
I think we would know if Grace left, it would be way quieter.
Had someone disappeared, it would have been obvious.
Grace is off the hook?
resolved itself quicker than I was anticipating.
Actually, no, I don't think it would be too much quieter. We had
Grace,
Cassie and Jet in there.
attended Cassidy and Jet's game tournament. And me. And Mark.
Damon and I also attended the tournament. We can also vouch for Grace.
You guys aren't lying, are you?
Do you really think 8 people would lie? Like, together?
What the heck? Are you seriously doubting 8 testimonies?
If the 8 of you were really together when Wolfgang was discovered, then Kai, doesn't that contradict what you said before the investigation? You told everyone you and Damon found Wolfgang first. How is that possible if you guys never left the dining hall?
What happened here? Damn it, we just found him like this.
I never said I didn't leave the dining hall.
But earlier you told us you were with the other attendees.
We technically still were.
Party goers left the dining hall together.
When the blackout struck, the tournament folk joined arms and headed straight downstairs. I would know. I saw him.
There was a blackout?
You don't remember?
Didn't we already tell her that?
Actually, I don't recall a power outage either.
How could that be? Did an alternate timeline converge with ours?
Why is it that some people can recall a blackout but not others? Thinking back on the testimonies I've collected, I can probably make an educated guess. Why is it that some did? I wonder what the answer is.
I got it. The reason not everyone experienced the blackout is because only the building containing our dorms was affected. If I had to guess, the courtyard and tree area are connected to separate power sources.
So the tournament attendees were affected, yet they left the dining hall? Why not stay put until the power returned?
Because we were the ones who brought it back. It didn't seem like the power was being restored anytime soon, so we took up the challenge of fixing it ourselves. And just our luck, boom! We found a spare generator lying in one of the storage closets. Of course, then we found Wolfgang.
She's right.
You win some, you
The
lose
8 of us
some.
split into 4 pairs and inspected a storage room each.
Because of the toaster trinket map, we know which ones, too. Eva and Grace check storage closet A. Jet and I check storage closet B. Damon and Kai check storage closet C. And Jean and Mark check storage closet D.
Yeah, I was with Grace. She can confirm being with me too.
You want to say anything, Grace?
Yeah, we were together.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Does she have an accent or not?
I'm so sorry for what I said earlier.
Sorry? You're sorry for accusing me of murder. Sorry doesn't cut it, you conniving two-faced bitch! If you really want my mercy, then get on your knees and beg for it!
Whoa! Uncool, dude.
Hang on. Even if you aren't involved in Wolfgang's murder, you must know something about his last known whereabouts.
What makes you think she'd be privy to that?
You see, there's proof Grace spent last night with Wolfgang.
Grace and Loya Man? Talk about an unexpected pairing.
When I investigated Wolfgang's room, I saw a bunch of golfing equipment inside. Also, there was a blue woman's jacket tossed over the mantle of Wolfgang's bed.
He's right. I also saw the equipment and the clothes.
The clothes are understandable, maybe. But why was golfing equipment in the room?
Yo, little history dude. Wolfgang must have spilt the beans with you, right?
Why would Ulysses know anything?
Why wouldn't he know?
Common courtesy. If you're gonna have a one-night stand, you gotta let your roomie know in advance.
Common courtesy also says you should watch your mouth around children.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm getting this right, Ulysses is bunking with Wolfgang?
Well, we only shared a dorm for one night.
You aren't bunking with him anymore?
Let me provide some context. As you may remember, after Desmond suggested everyone bunk together, the male students were directed to the dining hall. Once there, we played rock, paper, scissors to determine who would partner with who. Jed partnered with Mark, Desmond with Jean, Damon with Kai, and I with Wolfgang. Those were the pairings at the time. However, the following day, Grace and I agreed to swap rooms.
Yeah? Why'd you do that?
For reasons.
What's the reason on your end?
It was a win-win situation. I get Grace out of my hair. She gets me out of hers.
You two were originally bunking together?
The pairings were decided via a game of tic-tac-toe. I wasn't big on my partner being chosen for me. So when the opportunity arose to change that, I took it.
Thus, I became Winona's roommate, and Grace became Wolfgang's.
Can confirm. I watched the whole thing play out.
Since the room swap happened the night after we implemented the bunk buddy system, that would mean Grace and Wolfgang have been bunking for about a day and a half. Ugh, gross.
In that case, Desmond was right about those two being together last night. Grace, did Wolfgang act strange at any point? Like, maybe he said something that stuck out to you, or... Oh, maybe he had trouble getting to sleep.
No. Nothing weird happened last night. Nothing happened last night, but... The morning of the murder, this morning, Wolfgang told me he felt sick.
Sick?
With a stomachache. It hurt so bad he couldn't get out of bed. I was gonna cancel my plans for today, but he convinced me to attend the tournament. So, I left his room right after the morning announcement. And yes, I'm talking about the game tournament. The same one Wolfgang acted all hesitant about attending. Newsflash, I changed his mind after breakfast yesterday.
Hold on a sec. That ain't what you told me this morning.
What did Grace tell you?
Yeah, what'd she tell you?
Simply put, she felt like competing. Grace knew I planned to compete as well, so she asked me to be her sparring partner, since you needed one to enter the tournament.
She withheld information.
That she did.
Oh yeah, she doesn't want to admit that she was
Since I now know
so
Wolfgang's
excited
condition at
about
the
that.
time, I can't say I blame her. If someone you cared for was in a vulnerable position, would you go around and admit that in a killing game? No. You would try to protect that person by saying nothing at all.
When you put it that way. Man, sounds rough.
I think it's obtuse.
Huh?
Say we assume the best of Grace. She withheld information not to trick anyone, but to protect someone she cares about. What then should we make of the glaring contradiction in her testimony?
What the hell
contradiction?
If your bunking partner was too ill to make the short trek to the dining hall, how did he walk all the way to the boiler room?
Good point. If Wolfgang really were better, he would have stayed in his room.
Now that you mention it, to reach the underground floor, wouldn't Wolfgang need to descend, like, 4 flights of stairs? It's nothing for a healthy person, but for a guy who's supposedly really sick.
It's not my fault it doesn't make sense. It's just what Wolfgang told me.
Yeah. Didn't we decide Grace wasn't the killer anyway?
That's not to say she doesn't know more than she's letting on.
I'm not withholding anything else. Leave me alone.
I mean, we have at least 2 people that know there's a contradiction. Neither of them want to say anything. Too many people are letting their emotions cloud their judgment. Need to solve this mystery and set things straight. Like it was, what's her name? The matchmaker girl that saw him,
Why
right?
don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
Toshiko's match quest.
I've got nothing else to
Where are my buttons
explain.
again?
The last I saw
Not
Wolfgang,
that.
he was in the dorm room.
There we go. That's my speed up. That's my slow down.
Okay, here we go.
That's that.
Secret hallways.
Maybe Wolfgang was killed by the
There we
No,
go.
that's wrong.
I know what I'm doing.
It's true Grace's testimony is inconsistent with where we found Wolfgang's body. But that's not Grace's fault. The only person you should be blaming is Wolfgang himself.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
What the heck? Why are you blaming him?
Simple. Because he lied about being sick.
Seriously?
You can cooperate. Can't you, Toshiko? During the investigation, you told me you saw Wolfgang in the hallways at 8:10 a.m.
That's after I left.
Yes. I remember now. Ingrid. She developed a headache, so I went to the pharmacy to find some medication. The trip itself went fine, but when I returned to the hallway, I found myself face to face
with Wolfgang?
Oh, the phone! Toshiko actually saw Wolfgang? We had a normal, pleasant exchange. He appeared perfectly healthy and even mentioned going to the tournament.
Why do you sound like you're hiding something?
He never made it.
I don't want to be that guy, but can anyone confirm this?
I heard them chatting a while in my room. Though I was bedridden like a sitting ghost, I could still make out their voices here and there.
Strange. He told Grace he wouldn't attend the tournament, but then said the opposite to Toshiko.
Sounds like he was telling fibs to conceal his actual intentions.
And what's his true plan supposed to be?
To go to the boiler room. Most likely.
And Rust. What business would a guy like him have down there?
Why'd Wolfgang go to the boiler room? That I can also answer. There's no safe time to drink water. What is the button? That one.
This is it.
During the investigation, I found this note tucked away inside Wolfgang's blazer pocket. A lot of it is water damaged. The paper looks like it was ripped from a notebook, and the handwriting was done in ink. But some parts are still legible.
Secret 15
This
boiler room.
mentions the boiler room.
Exactly. The fact we found Wolfgang in the boiler room, and this note in his pocket. It can't be a coincidence. This note must be the reason Wolfgang went there.
That mention of a secret sure is suspicious. I'm willing to bet Wolfgang's reason had something to do with it.
Agreeing to meet a stranger in some spooky, dark place? Wolfgang had nerve to steal.
Ulysses, Grace, do you remember Wolfgang getting delivered a weird note?
No. The only time I recall him receiving anything was when Tozu distributed those envelopes.
I don't know anything about a note.
Really? Wolfgang shared nothing with you guys?
It did say secret.
Guess he didn't want them to know what it said.
Right. And if Wolfgang wanted to keep this note a secret, he would obviously want to keep the meeting a secret too.
Then the reason he told Grace he felt sick
Was to remove her from the picture. Yeah. Once she's not in the room, Wolfgang has his opportunity to sneak out and head downstairs. That's also why he encouraged her to attend the tournament.
Didn't this same guy ask us to share our blackmail with each other? Talk about double standards.
Looks like he pulled a lawyer
Are we
move.
sure he wasn't just trying to protect Grace? Maybe he knew he was meeting someone dangerous, so he thought it would be safer not to involve her.
That does sound like something Wolfgang would do.
Wouldn't it be safer to tell
Not
her
to
though?
interrupt, but on the subject of blackmail, did Wolfgang ever confront the person he had?
Oh? You don't know whose blackmail he got?
Well, if you recall what Wolfgang said originally.
For that reason, I implore you all to speak with the person whose blackmail you have, and them only. And if the contents of that envelope, even if the contents of that envelope seem horrible, give the person a chance to explain themselves.
Regardless of the blackmail's contents, it would be treated as a matter between the recipient and the subject of the blackmail, and no one else. Which makes me wonder, could whether or not Wolfgang confronted his person clue us into what had originally been written on that note?
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
If that person somehow realized Wolfgang carried their blackmail, but never came forward about it, they could have demanded Wolfgang show it to them, hence the mention of a secret. However, if Wolfgang did confront his person, I don't see why that same person would then send him a threatening note. Not least act coy about information they both know.
If the person being blackmailed wasn't the one who wrote the note, who was?
Obviously, it would be the student with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh, I knew that.
Yes, the secret in question may actually be a reference to Wolfgang's blackmail, not the sender's.
Is there any way to figure out whose secret it is?
We'd probably need to know whose blackmail Wolfgang had first.
Oh, I've got just the idea.
Are we all gonna show him?
Yo! Person who Wolfgang had blackmail on! If he gave you your blackmail back, can you say something?
Don't forget the person with Wolfgang's blackmail.
This is basically the killer. Raise your hand. We'll all close our eyes. No one will tell.
Person who's got Wolfgang's blackmail! If you're innocent, say something already!
We better not keep quiet. Say something. If I'm innocent, I should say something. Would telling everyone I have Wolfgang's blackmail really guarantee my innocence in their eyes? It's better than hiding it. I don't know. Although everyone may follow my direction during the trial, since they can't ignore the evidence on my side. When it comes to me, of all people, owning Wolfgang's blackmail, how do I know they won't suddenly change their tune? They might chastise me for not revealing his blackmail sooner, or maybe they'll think I'm confessing and accuse me of murdering him. It's not like I wouldn't be able to refute their arguments, but do I really want to subject myself to all of that? Does the trajectory of this trial really depend on whether or not
I was hesitant to admit it, since I knew it would put me on the spot. But I'd rather be suspected than be the reason this trial comes to a standstill.
Eh?
Are you confessing? Do you have Wolfgang's blackmail?
Is he lying for us?
Nah, not his.
Oh.
Seriously? Way to be anticlimactic.
However, it's thanks to him that I have my own.
Oh, so he had jeans.
Your own?
Wolfgang approached me the same day everyone received an envelope. Funnily enough, it happened right after I'd finished speaking with my own person. He and we had a good talk. He gave me his envelope and asked me to take care of it. If you need the proof.
Ah, Wolfgang's envelope had the same signature.
I held on to the letter for safekeeping. This should all be said sooner. I realized that. I suppose my pride was stronger than my rectitude. My mistake for stringing everyone along.
I mean, at least you're honest.
Truth. Thanks for letting us know, bud.
Kai, don't you dare out
Indeed.
us.
To recognize, to acknowledge one's own misdoings is a most virtuous feat, I believe.
Right. It's very noble.
Come on. Just say it. If I revealed my blackmail right now, would everyone here treat me the same? No, not even slightly. Would they be just as forgiving? Not even
I take it
slightly.
our other blackmail person isn't gonna step forward?
Come on, step forward, bud.
If nothing happens, let's just have everyone recite whose blackmail they got one by one.
Huh? You sure that's a good idea?
No one's reciting shit.
It was only a suggestion. Calm your farm.
Just
Even
say
from
it.
who had Wolfgang's blackmail, that doesn't necessarily mean they're his
Oh
killer.
my god.
It's annoying they won't speak up, sure. But unlike John, they would actually need to reveal Wolfgang's blackmail to prove they have it. This person might just want to respect Wolfgang's request to keep the blackmail between two people, especially now that he's gone.
I don't know. Is it really okay if we never find out?
Circumstantial evidence alone can't prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. If we want to solve this case, we need indisputable evidence.
Yeah.
There are two people in this room
It's
that
like
already
doing a
know we
jigsaw
have
puzzle
his,
without the box art to help you.
and one of them cannot keep his mouth shut.
The cases, or
Obviously, the case.
He's gonna accidentally
The
tell
pieces
on
you
us.
connect, the clearer the image you're constructing becomes. The clearer the image, the more you can assume about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Once we know how Wolfgang died, the rest of this case should fall into place.
Oh right, we didn't
You
actually show him,
certainly
did we?
talk a lot stranger than you used to. But I think I get it.
Well, I don't want to be the one to start, but we can all agree Wolfgang was stabbed to death, right?
Stabbed to death?
When I was in the boiler room, I saw a knife bobbing around in the water near her. And on the ground, there was blood. Dried blood. On the boiler room floor and on the hallway floor.
That's gotta be Wolfgang's blood, right?
The knife was bloody, so...
Seems like a brawl happened in the hallway. While poor Wolfie was minding his own business, he was confronted by the killer, who attacked him and chased him into the boiler room.
I mean, we already know he
That
was gonna
would
be
line up
in
with how we
the
found
boiler
him.
room. And no one. Killer stabbed Wolfgang in the hallway, then followed him into the boiler room. No, that's not what happened. I need to show everyone where they've gone wrong. Alright, I need to focus. I need to actually listen to what they're saying instead of listening to the music.
Is this really how you guys think Wolfgang died?
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence. It was floating in the water right next to him.
Not just that, there's blood on the boiler room floor, and along the underground hallway.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
I know what to shoot. Please.
No, that's wrong.
Alright. That took way too long. Alright.
Jed, you talk a lot about the knife and the bloodstains on the floor. But did you ever look at Wolfgang himself?
I gave him a glance. Nothing too deep.
I figured. Had you actually taken the time to look at Wolfgang's back, you would have noticed a clear absence of stab wounds. In fact, none of the injuries he sustained were the type to cause severe blood loss. Seriously, we went over the same thing with Cassidy during the mock trial. Couldn't you give Wolfgang the dignity of a proper investigation?
Hey, man, it's not like I didn't try. It's just, this stuff doesn't come easy, you know? Nobody wakes up thinking they'll have to solve their buddy's murder later.
Isn't that exactly what you should be worrying about in a killing game?
I mean,
not everyone has the stomach for investigating.
To be fair,
That's
it's kind
That's
of
why you got people like me to do the heavy lifting.
it's a fair reason.
Since some of us here weren't able to investigate Wolfgang's body, I'll lay out his injuries. There were 2 marks on the back of his neck, a bruise, and a tiny red dot. His hands were burned too, so 3 injuries in total. Besides that, I caught nothing else.
Burns, you say?
Electrical burns specifically.
Hi, my dear Wilson. Can I use the flamethrower?
These didn't look like normal burns. Not the sort you'd get from a stove fire, or a hot iron, or a flamethrower, I suppose.
Contradicting my theory outright? Jeez. So this is the thanks I get for vocalizing my thoughts?
Sorry, lass.
Yes, if I may add on to what John said. The burns actually bore a strong resemblance to what you might see in cases of coronal paralysis.
Chiaro... Huh?
Ooh, now this I know. Coronal paralysis. It's something which happens to lightning strike victims. Getting struck by lightning is like getting kicked by a horse. The impact is so shocking. Some people will lose all feeling in their limbs for a few hours.
I was aware of lightning paralysis, but even I didn't know its official name. That's a nice head you've got on your shoulders.
Lots of people tend to overlook the importance of lightning safety, especially where I'm from.
I mean, I
My
guess
grandpappy once tried working
metalworking.
out in the open during a thunderstorm. Pure luck's the only reason he lived to see the next day.
Sorry to hear that and all, but what does lightning have to do with anything?
Well, if I had to guess, Ulysses, did it look like a big old tree was drawn on Wolfie?
A big old tree. Yes, that's how I would describe the burns on Wolfgang.
So Wolfgang had lightning strike scars?
Huh? We're trapped inside a building, though. Lightning can't come from anywhere.
I mean, electricity can.
Before the killing game?
I think we both know this.
Fate is stronger than will, you know. Perhaps the deity decreed the glow of his altruism from their heavenly abode and felt him a threat.
Nay, those burns were fresh. One look was all it took for me to know that. If he had these scars before, we would have noticed them anyway.
But if those marks were recently inflicted, wouldn't it mean Wolfgang somehow went outside?
Not necessarily. This is only something I thought of just now, but the reason Wolfgang sustained burns similar to that of lightning strike victims may be because whatever inflicted his burns was equivalent in damage to a lightning strike.
Did you say the something out here channeling the power of lightning?
Something equivalent in damage to a lightning strike. The idea sounds ridiculous, but when I'm thinking back to the boiler room and what was inside it... Right, if I take that object into consideration, Ulysses' theory starts to make more sense. Assuming we mean this.
This is it.
Yeah, we do.
Ulysses, since you write everything down, do you have a description of the boiler room in your notebook?
Yes, I do. Why?
Since some people here never investigated the crime scene, they probably aren't as familiar with the room as we are. So, you should read out your description of it.
Sure. The boiler room consists of a small concrete platform surrounded by ankle-deep water. Throughout the room are boxes filled with various garbage, and in the back looks to be a generator, charred beyond belief. What you just heard is a brief summary of my notes.
Hear that? There's a generator inside the boiler room. Of all the things which could deal similar damage to a lightning strike, doesn't a generator sound the most likely?
Didn't Ulysses say it was destroyed?
At the time of the investigation, sure. But it wasn't always destroyed. You probably don't remember. But back when we found the dummy, I mentioned something about the underground floor.
Dining hall people, you were in the building before. Tell us what's going on. Yeah, why didn't you mention this other girl? The hell? I never saw her. Huh? You were there too, Bargainbit? Don't even... There's a floor below us. That's where I woke up.
To be more specific, it was the boiler room I woke up inside. I hadn't been alone either. Ava was also there.
I woke up first.
Yeah, she did. Anyway, Ava, you agreed the generator was in full working condition when we woke up, right?
Right.
So in the time since you woke up there, the generator was destroyed?
It's the only possibility. As for what destroyed the generator, well, it's hard to say for sure. My best guess would probably be...
Don't waste my time. Two things. First, destroyed is overly vague. Ulysses explained the state of the generator much better. Charred beyond belief.
Yeah, so why do you need us to be more
And
specific?
more importantly, where's your proof the generator inflicted those burns?
What are you talking about? The generator must be involved. It's near where Wolfgang is lying.
Being within range of something counts as proof now, does it? Do you also consider happenstance as conclusive evidence? Funny how the standards shift, if so.
That?
Damn it, she's trying to make me look like an idiot. If I let this continue, the others might start to doubt me. I need to stop her before she veers the trial off track. I don't use those. We're gonna figure it out as we go. Use WASD and Q. We'll figure it out. This is how we'll do this. We'll just jump into it. It can't be that different, right?
While the generator may look suspicious, consider the time frame we're working with. If the only time you saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping, that gives us a period of almost 4 days in which the generator might have been destroyed.
Alright, cross sword. Oh! What button is it? Is it A? Getting ahead of myself. Alright, Kind of wish there was a controller
While the
set.
generator may look
Alright, we advanced.
What about the blackout? It's impossible for the generator to cause the blackout. If it was already broken prior to the tournament.
What about the blackout? The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or after the murder.
What am I hitting? There we go.
I'll cut through those words.
Alright, so that's a good thing to know.
When the blackout happened, it froze a piece of equipment which had been set up for the game tournament. Mark's DJ pad. While there was no physical clock inside the dining hall, a digital one has been built into Mark's pad. If you look at what time the digital clock is frozen on, it matches the time of death listed on the tablet, 9:35 a.m.
Well, Mark, is this true?
There's no point in me saying anything when someone else has already said it better.
I feel
Just
that.
answer with a yes or no, will you?
Yes.
In any case, the matching times were too much of a coincidence. The destruction of the generator caused the blackout, and the blackout occurred at the time of the murder. There's no way the destruction of the generator wasn't tied to Wolfgang's death.
What do you suppose happened then?
I'm willing to bet the generator's destruction resulted in the boiler room's water becoming electrified. Since Wolfgang was discovered kneeling in the water, we can reason he was standing in it at the time this happened then.
Damon, you and I both know that's not true.
Huh?
We do now?
Did you forget? It's impossible for the water in the boiler room to play a role in Wolfgang's murder. Because it isn't even conductive.
It's not?
After Damon and I woke up in the boiler room, I wanted to investigate the flooded area. So, I tested the water.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Ava approaching a pile of boxes and fish outlet. Then, without hesitation, she chucked it into the water.
I even redid my test during the investigation, since Damon wasn't sure if he should touch Wolfgang's wet clothes. In both instances, I proved the water was safe to enter. To be honest, neither result really surprised me. Water will only act as a conductor if it makes contact with two separate energy sources. The boiler room's generator is just one source.
If you're standing in the water, one outlet should be enough. Speaking from experience, large bodies of water are terrifying conductors during storms. All it takes is one lightning bolt, and the surrounding miles are scorched.
But the generator is a slow, persistent source of electricity. It's not the same as a lightning strike.
Electricity is electricity. Doesn't matter how it manifests. The reason you two avoided electrocution is because the generator's exposed wires aren't even touching the water. If they were, you would have been scorched right from the start.
Didn't think of that, did you?
Maybe when the generator was destroyed, some of the wiring fell into the water?
Nah. Even in its current sorry state, the generator's wires are nowhere near the water.
It doesn't make sense for the generator to pose a danger anyway. The point of the killing game is for the students to kill each other, not for the facility to kill the students. A feature of the building killing a student would be a meaningless death because you can't attribute a student killer to it.
Unless it was set
As
off.
for why the generator's been charred, sometimes electrical faults happen. Even my ship's engines have broken under particularly relentless storms. And if an electrical fault caused Wolfgang's death, then his murder is purely on the hosts, ain't it?
Of course. If we were responsible for his death, you lot wouldn't be here discussing it.
That's... Is the generator really unrelated to the case? But the timing of the blackout, it's too perfect. It can't be a coincidence.
Okay, since we ruled out the generator, what else could have electrocuted Wolfgang?
Yeah, it mightn't be relevant, but I did see one other thing on the boiler room floor. A toy gun or something. At least, that's how it came across to me.
Not a toy gun, a taser gun.
A taser? I'll shoot electricity!
I'm not sure how the taser fits in with this case, though. It doesn't seem to have been used.
Nope. The taser was definitely used.
How so? I didn't catch any sort of string protruding from it.
Not all taser guns release a string when fired. Some are completely wireless. For those types, you can tell they've been used if the blast doors are missing. Side note, blast doors are plastic panels which cover the muzzle of a taser. If a shot is fired, it'll pop clean off. When I was investigating the crime scene, I found the taser gun in one spot and its blast doors in another.
Does he have a scar on his forehead?
Yeah.
And here I was thinking the yellow bits were just random trash.
Where the heck did a taser gun even come from? Last time I checked, there weren't any lying around in the storage closets.
Maybe it belongs to someone here.
Huh?
Just think about it for 1 second. Everyone here has a dorm room which is themed around their talent. Mine's got DJ equipment, Jet's got car batteries. If that's what we have with our talents, what could someone with a dangerous talent have?
Are you talking about, like, knives and stuff?
Mark's gonna kill someone.
What? Is there something on my face?
I don't know who, but...
Forget this. The person I'm talking about is Desmond.
Huh? No way! You think the gun is Desmond's?
Yeah.
Hang on. You've got it all mixed up.
Why would he tell us that it's obviously been used if he was the one that did it?
About this? As Desmond's roommate, perhaps you spotted something inside his dorm.
Alas, we stayed in my abode. I couldn't tell you if he had weapons.
Talk about suspicious.
Did Desmond agree to bunk in Jean's dorm so Jean wouldn't see the weapons in his?
Listen, I get where you guys are coming from, but that taser gun, it's not mine. I've never seen anything like it.
No, that's a lie.
A lie?
His attempt to feign innocence won't fool me. Not when I know the truth. Lying because of his blackmail. So we're gonna admit how we know that?
The blackmail tools you gave us. That's my evidence.
You didn't get mine, did you?
No. But the person who did informed me of what it said.
With his weapons in hand, Desmond Guard's the only one he trusts.
The writing style seems to match. I think it's legit.
That's more than a little suspicious, don't you think? Leaving a bunch of weapons unguarded during a killing game?
He didn't tell
Don't
anyone
judge
they
me.
existed.
This is the first time I'm hearing of it too.
You didn't know there were weapons in your room?
Yep, no idea.
Our rooms aren't particularly subtle in their theme. Are we supposed to believe yours is any different?
It is themed. I'm not denying it. But I sure as hell didn't catch sight of any weapons. If I did, do you seriously think I'd leave them unguarded and risk being found out?
Yeah, Desmond cares too much about everyone. He pointed out the broken doorknobs and gave us the idea to bunk together. Why would he hide weapons in his room?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside. There's no other way to explain it.
You know, signs to Eva are getting stronger and stronger. Only person to know both motives so far that are involved.
Well, no one besides parents and religiously inclined.
Enough talking about consoles. Why are you guys believing Desmond so easily? If the taser gun belongs to him, then he's the killer. Any argument he makes against it is just a flimsy excuse. Desmond is the killer. The taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard.
But if this is about avoiding suspicion, why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon. I was with
Alright guys, speak up a little bit. We love you, Eloise. We just need to hear you.
Regardless of whether or not Desmond knew about the gun, he definitely wasn't involved in the murder. Eloise can back me up on this.
Right. Desmond and I, we were together in the courtyard at the time of Wolfgang's death.
I see. Then both of you can be ruled out as suspects.
Don't just take her word for it. She could be covering for Desmond.
Why would she?
Jeez, if you have a bone to pick with these guys, at least save it for when we're not solving a murder.
Yeah. Why don't you want to believe Eloise?
Ever since the investigation, these two yuppies have been on my case non-stop. They're obviously working together.
Because they know they're
I see where
innocent.
Grace is coming from. When Eloise tried to single her out earlier, Desmond was pretty quick to jump in and agree.
Even so, since the topic has been brought up, I would like to mention something. During my trip to the pharmacy, I believe I saw Desmond and Eloise in the courtyard together.
You also said you were back in the hallways around 8-10 a.m., didn't you? That means those two were wandering around unsupervised. Either one of them could have left the courtyard.
If Desmond was the killer, what would Eloise gain from defending him? Should the wrong vote be cast, nothing about the rules suggests an accomplice of the killer would be exempt from execution.
That's right. And even if she was exempt, Eloise is too nice to be an accomplice to murder.
I don't know how much I believe that.
Grace, I realize Desmond's irked you, but that's no reason to keep steering everyone down a dead end. Let's move on.
Person who's always steering others down a dead end, huh? I guess they needed a GPS. Anyway, we should totally thank Desmond for clearing things up now.
I was expecting there to be more to that.
Not only do we know he's not the killer, now we know how the killer got their hands on the taser.
Now we know how... What?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Yup, that is word for word what Desmond said.
Right. Good memory.
All in a day's work, baby!
Can you repeat that quote, Cassidy?
Again. But I just said it.
Yeah, but I want you to say it again.
Alright. Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Is there something on your mind?
If Desmond's testimony is anything to go by, then wouldn't this mean the culprit has to be male?
Wanna run that by me again?
If I remember correctly, all the guys were aware of each other's pairings. With that sort of knowledge, a male student could try and infiltrate another male student's dorm.
None of us knew which room we'd be bunking in.
It only takes a quick peek to check if someone's inside or not. Anyone could have done that.
And who's to say the thief didn't barge in before we started bunking?
Or while people were having breakfast.
Seems there was a mountain of opportunities for our culprit to sneak in unnoticed. Doesn't exactly help us narrow things down, does it?
You are more and more suspicious every time you talk. Maybe just
This taser
don't.
gun was a bust.
Look on the bright side. If it's been fired, then it's probably what electrocuted Wolfie. If trying to suss out who stole it isn't feasible, why don't we talk about Wolfie's other injuries instead? You know, the ones that weren't burn marks? Those seem like they could lead us somewhere.
Yeah. Besides the burns on his hands, Wolfgang also had a bruise and a tiny red dot on the back of his neck.
A bruise and a tiny dot, huh? Wanna try tackling them in alphabetical order?
Alphabetical order? Now, aren't you full of smart ideas?
No need to thank me. It's only common sense.
Okay, let's discuss the bruise first.
Alright. I wonder what we're
I think
using.
it's safe to say the killer didn't use a flamethrower.
Maybe Wolfgang got into a fight? Someone might have attacked him and aimed for
Alright,
his
that's the
neck.
thing.
If you can even reach that high.
Either way, something.
There we go.
Got it.
Kai's right. Something did hit Wolfgang.
Really? Man. And I was only blurting out the first thing which came to mind. Anyway, from how you're wording things, do you know what that something is?
A rolling pin.
Way to be blunt about it.
Eh?
Wolfgang was hit with a rolling pin.
Maybe explain your answer a little bit?
How on earth did you reach that conclusion?
Ava and I found this pin inside storage closet A, which is just a few feet from the crime scene. Coincidentally, the pin also has a dent.
You sure that's enough to say it's involved? Could just be a flimsy pin.
No. There's something else which solidifies this pin's role in the murder. Handprints. 2 of them on the edge of the pin.
So the killer used a rolling pin to attack Wolfgang?
It certainly explains the bruising on his neck.
They must have wanted him to be unconscious so he wouldn't fight back.
Exactly. It would be easier to drag him into the water if he's not awake.
You reckon the killer purposely put Wolfie in the water?
Damn! With one electrified blow, Wolfgang is zapped to bits with the taser! Since he's lying in the water, he's definitely a goner.
Why not just drown him at that point?
Logical ethos of the killer's rectitude, especially when governed under constricting pressure. Leaving him catatonic would be the most facile solution.
I guess it makes sense.
After shooting Wolfgang with the taser, what was the killer's next move? If I figure that out, I'll be one step closer to solving this case.
So let me get this straight. The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin, and then chucked the pin into Closet A?
When exactly did they discard the pin?
They couldn't have done it when Eva and I were already downstairs. Because the two of us went
Okay,
inside
so
Closet
somewhere
A.
in here.
Why were you inside the closet?
To find the backup generator, remember? Ed and I checked Closet B. Damon and Kai checked Closet C. Eva and Grace checked Closet A. And Jean and Mark checked Closet D.
The killer just discarded the pin before we came downstairs.
Yeah, I think Mark's right.
What device do I have?
Because the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room immediately.
There we go.
No, that's wrong!
Nailed it.
Diana, there's proof the killer fled the underground hallway at a later time. When the tournament attendees were looking for a backup generator, Kai and I heard someone run past our room.
Huh?
Oh man, that's right. We were just exploring the closet when all of a sudden we heard footsteps in the hallway. That's when Damon decided he was gonna follow where the footsteps came from and entered the boiler room.
Did anyone else hear these footsteps?
Nope. Not ringing any bells.
Yeah, Jen and me didn't really hear it over all our talking.
I heard the footsteps.
Huh? You did?
Well, I initially thought it was my imagination, so I never said anything.
Ashamed to say, I also brushed off the footsteps. Thought I was hearing things. However, since other people can attest to hearing them...
Then someone else was on the underground floor with us.
Before anyone tries to bring it up, none of the tournament attendees could have been the person running. Since everyone explored the closets in pairs, they all have solid alibis.
I'm sure we can all vouch for that, aye?
Everyone was still in their closets after Damon and I found Wolfgang. So,
Considering the footsteps were moving away from the crime scene, I think it's safe to say they belong to the killer.
What did that mean? The killer fled while you guys were exploring the rooms?
Hold up! So the killer had been right next to us?
Boy, that's a given.
huh? How are you so calm after hearing that? The only thing which stood between us and a murderer was a door. What if they attacked us?
Why
Well,
would they attack
did,
you?
So I don't see what the problem is.
Sheesh, you're weird.
Why not run away earlier, though? Fleeing while everyone is searching seems really risky.
Maybe it was a miscalculation.
It's not impossible, I guess.
If not that, then maybe the killer returned to the boiler room after discarding the pin?
Sounds pretty meat-headed if you ask me.
Yes, you'd think a killer would use that moment to run away.
Were the two who heard the footsteps? Describe the sound.
It was kinda socky. As in, it sounded pretty soft. Like the person had taken off their shoes.
Saki, huh? Seems this killer was purposefully trying to keep quiet.
I mean,
Because
yeah.
their footsteps were soft.
That seems like a leap in logic.
Why are you being defensive?
No, I get what she's saying. Everyone here has socks on, I'm pretty sure. So any one of us could have run down the hallway. The thing with shoes is, not everyone here has the same kind. If the killer had worn theirs, we might have been able to figure out their footwear from the sound it made on the floor. Then we just have to single out the person with that footwear. Man, it would have been so easy to find the killer.
We already can find the killer, though.
What?
Who's she gonna blame?
Are you pulling out leg?
I'm completely serious. Picture a map of the building complex in your head. The building with the dorms is on the left, the courtyard is in the middle, and the building with the tree is on the right. Now, try and pin everyone's locations during Wolfgang's murder. Once you do that, the identity of the killer will definitely become clear.
Is the killer someone whose position we can't place?
No, we can place them. They're just like, they have a really bad alibi, and it's Diana.
No, it's not about position.
Eh?
Wolfgang's killer can easily lie about their location during the murder. The only thing distinguishing their testimony from everyone else's is that theirs can't be corroborated.
In which case, our killer... Yes, that's right. The only one here who can possibly be the killer is you. Oh, I don't know which side she's on. Where are you? You. I don't think she killed.
It has to be you!
I know I said her and Eva were the two people that I'd said are probably most likely.
Her? The makeup girl?
But no, it had to be Eva, right?
Those of us who attended the tournament can obviously be ruled out. And as for those who didn't, Desmond and Eloise were in the courtyard. Toshiko and Ingrid were in the same dorm room.
What about Winona? She never mentioned an alibi.
Give me a break.
Winona and I were in the building with the tree all morning. In fact, yes, Desmond and Eloise should have witnessed us walking over there, as those two were in the courtyard at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, Diana really is the only one without an alibi.
Guys,
If she's the person who fled the boiler room, those footsteps we heard make a lot more sense. Heels make a pretty loud clop sound on hard floors, and the underground hallway's floor is pretty hard. Diana would obviously want to take them off. Also, heels aren't comfy to run in.
Whoa! I didn't even think of it like that.
Don't worry, they'll probably fight a bunch in chapter 2.
Right, though. Since Diana's the only one here with heels, she would have to take them off.
Guys, what are you talking about? Me? A killer? Do you really think I could be a killer?
The fact you weren't at the tournament is incriminating enough.
Not just that. Everyone but you has an alibi.
But I do have an alibi. Right, Ava?
Huh?
You woke up with me this morning, and you never saw me leave my dorm.
During the brief amount of time we were together, I never saw you leave. What you did after I left for the game tournament, however, is anyone's guess.
Eva wanted to help me and Cass set up the tournament, so we told her to swing by early.
For that reason, I left Diana's dorm at 8:05 a.m. I know the exact time since her room has a clock. I probably entered the dining hall around 8:10 a.m.-ish.
So much for an alibi, then.
Diana, don't tell me.
Holy smokes, it's all falling into place!
are we sure there hasn't been some sort of misunderstanding?
It's not possible. Diana can't be the killer. No! I refuse to believe it!
Looks like some people here aren't willing to face the facts. That's not a problem. I'll make them face the facts, whether they like it or not. Soon enough, nobody will be able to deny Diana killed Wolfgang. I have no trust in that statement. Suspicious note, blood spots.
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail? Because if so, that might be her blood on the knife too.
Diana's blood? Are you saying she wounded herself?
Wounded herself? What makes you think that?
I don't know. Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree the killer was wielding a rolling pin?
Well, maybe they had both. The rolling pin in one hand.
No, that's wrong!
I'm so glad that actually hit, because I hit the wrong button.
No. The killer was only wielding a rolling pin during their confrontation with Wolfgang. You can tell just from looking at the pin. There are two handprints wrapped around the edge, as if the killer had been holding the pin like a tennis racket. Which makes sense, because you can swing with more force if you use both hands. And that's what a killer wants when trying to knock out a grown man.
Then, who held the knife?
It wasn't the killer, so it was most likely the only other person in the boiler room, Wolfgang Akire.
The hell are you talking about? Wolfgang carrying a dangerous weapon? Bullshit!
If you were in his situation, wouldn't you? Wolfgang received an anonymous message asking him to meet in a basement, all whilst in the middle of a killing game. At that point, it doesn't matter how much of an optimist he is. You know better than to come unarmed.
A knife isn't super hard to find, either. Wolfgang probably just stole one from the kitchen.
Besides, if Diana is the one who got stabbed, it would explain the blood trail. Think about it. She arms herself with a rolling pin and attacks Wolfgang, getting hurt by him in the process. For some reason, possibly because of the blackout, she doesn't clean the blood trail she's leaving, and returns to her dorm room after.
No! That's wrong!
Huh?
I wasn't stabbed. If I was stabbed, then I'd have an injury. But there's nothing, right? There's nothing on me.
Depends. If a vein got nipped, you'd be seeing blood no matter the size of the cut. Of course, that also means a small cut will need bandaging, which I'm not seeing on you.
You may not see any injuries on Diana, but that doesn't mean they aren't there.
No ripped clothes, no blood stains, not enough time to actually go change.
If she wanted, she could simply hide her injuries from view. After all, someone like her has exactly what it takes.
Diana's talent.
I got it.
I mean, would she have the stuff for
As the ultimate
full
cosmetologist,
cosmetic stuff?
Diana can easily cover her wounds.
It makes sense. With the right equipment, she could probably disguise even a bandaged wound.
As Diana's bunking partner, I've seen firsthand how many different cosmetics are inside her room. So unfortunately, I have to agree.
Well, Diana, did I get anything wrong?
No. No. But
Wait. Diana, did you just say no? As in, no, you're not wrong that I covered up my wounds? Oh crap. Oh crap. You guys know what this means, right guys? Diana just...
Diana just?
Diana basically just confessed!
A confession? Are you for real?
It makes sense, though, doesn't it? Diana got wounded, which proves she got in a fight with Wolfgang. Which means all that stuff about Wolfgang going to the boiler room, all that stuff really did happen.
I see. I see now what you were saying. Diana, she lured Wolfgang to the boiler room by writing him that note. And when he arrived, she attacked him and killed him. And now, she's been lying this entire trial, hoping we would never suspect her. How cruel!
Diana, It wasn't me! I promise, it wasn't me!
To think she could preach about friendship after committing a violent crime.
I fully believe it wasn't her.
Try and sentence the rest of us to punishment.
Golly, you're right. If we voted for the wrong person, we would have been executed.
Ah, that's so fucked! Seriously, Diana? What the hell is your damage?
It doesn't line up fully.
Can we at least hear Diana's side of the story?
Her side?
Well, you know, Diana has, I just think it's fair we listen.
What does it matter what she says? Look at the evidence. This case, it's closed. We know who the killer is. If you really want to ask for Diana's side of the story, then do it after the vote.
What?
No, no!
Votes. That's right, we have to vote for the killer. Diana, I've proven beyond reasonable doubt that she's the killer. I've proven beyond a reasonable doubt, so...
No. No. No.
Why is it that when I hear her cry, I get this strange, nagging feeling in my chest? Why does a tiny part of me want to believe the things she's saying? Why all of a sudden? Do I doubt myself? Alright,
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
yeah.
She fled the crime scene, hoping the rest.
Give me the thing. There we go.
How could you
It's probably not the right one, but I know I can get them
Wolfgang
now.
was only trying to keep us together.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
Oh, it was the right one. Alright. I'm very glad that was the right one because that took way longer than it should have.
We know that Diana got stabbed during her confrontation with Wolfgang, but that doesn't prove she's the culprit.
Wait. Huh?
If anything, what it should mean is that Diana was trying to get away from him as fast as possible.
Do you hear yourself right now?
He's lost his mind.
The stab wounds prove that Diana was in the same room as Wolfgang before his death. She's the killer.
I'm not. I'm not the killer.
Diana. You're gonna have to try a bit harder. Like, give us more information than you're not the killer? Getting all mushy and making a fool of myself in front of everyone.
Sheesh, Damon. How are you going to say all this dramatic stuff about Diana being the killer, and then say the opposite 5 minutes later?
Making a fool of myself, and making a fool of myself. And yet, when I think back on everything she's done, just because they have different opinions doesn't mean they're bad people. They clearly want the same thing as the rest of us, right? They just want to go home. So, I think it's okay if we give them a chance. Yeah, that's right. We can make it through this. I wish I could speak as well as you, Wolfgang. I realize everyone's been acting tense around you and Eva, so I wanted to say hi and check that you're okay. Well, in any case, if you ever need someone to talk to, just come find me, alright? Diana was always thinking of me when no one else was. She knew how frustrated I felt about everything, about Wolfgang. Of course, she tried to play it off as some kind of casual interaction between friends, but she tried to help me without making it seem like I was someone who needed help. Could someone like her really have had what it takes to commit a murder? It doesn't make sense. Thinking Diana could kill another person. It doesn't make any logical sense.
Whatever. Who cares what this guy says? We finally know the killer. Let's cast our votes already.
I guess, if that's what everyone else is doing.
Remember, if you don't vote, you die. So none of you naysayers better get any smart...
If you vote, you also die.
Tozu.
ideas?
Are you listening, Tozu? I need to ask a question.
Dude, what are you...
Hello, hello! It is I, Tozu, answerer of questions. You ask a question, I give an answer. Just common sense it is.
Answerer of questions? I thought you were a host.
Same difference.
I'm a host with an ascendant in question answering. A jack of all trades, if you will.
Anyway, Tozu, according to the regulations, everyone has to vote when a trial is over. My question is, when exactly can a trial be considered over?
Are we talking in a literal or philosophical sense?
I mean, does the trial end and the voting begin once we think we've solved the mystery? Or does the vote automatically start after a certain amount of time?
I see. All right, I'll humor your question. If you ask nicely.
What?
Go on. Ask the question again.
Well, are you still gonna do it?
Tozu, can I please know the factors that decide whether a trial could be considered over?
Well, since you're so polite, I'd be a fool not to tell you. The truth is, the class trial will only end once I become bored with it.
You're joking.
What? Why did you say this sooner?
Come now, it's not like I wouldn't announce a warning in advance. Tick-tock, tick-tock. That's the sound of my internal clock losing patience. Let's start wrapping things up, shall we? I think we're long overdue for a vote. See? Smart, snappy, and to the point.
Sounds terrible.
What if you're still not bored, even when we think we've solved the case?
If that happened and all of you agreed to vote, what reason is there for me to say no?
So in that case, everyone must unanimously agree to vote before voting can be held.
Indeedy.
Alright. Then, since you haven't made any kind of warning, I take it you're not bored with the trial yet.
Not yet.
In that case, I didn't agree to vote.
What?
Yeah, what are you gonna do now?
No way! Are you seriously pushing back the vote?
Not until I know who the real killer is.
It's obviously Diana. She's the only one without an alibi for the murder.
Diana may not have an alibi, but even so, saying she's a murderer contradicts everything we know about her.
Since when?
Diana looked up to Wolfgang, and Wolfgang cared about her. But from the moment suspicion fell on Diana, she's been nothing but a nervous wreck. Does that really sound like someone with the emotional capacity to murder?
What's to say she's not faking it?
Even if she was, it'd be rash to commence a vote without hearing both sides of the story first.
You do make a good point.
We are not in a rush. I say we hear Diana out.
Yeah. I don't feel comfortable voting yet, until Diana shares her testimony.
Sure thing. I'm up for listening.
But
Well,
Diana,
the floor is yours.
I promise to keep an open mind if you tell me what happened. Even if it's stressful to relive. Until we have conclusive evidence to say otherwise. I'll hear you out.
I'm sorry. I'm really I wanted to help. I wanted to make everything okay. But all I could do was be useless. All I could do was watch him die. It's all my fault. All my fault. For doing the wrong thing.
So is this a confession, or...?
No!
Huh?
I didn't kill Wolfgang. And I don't know who did, but I still failed him as a friend. I failed him then. And I failed him here. But if I told the truth, things would be worse than they already are. But now that I've said nothing...
Diana watched Wolfgang die?
It's okay, sweetheart. Come on now, take deep breaths.
yeah, we'll believe you no matter what you say.
It's looking like Diana might actually be innocent. It's looking like that, but the nagging feeling in my chest still won't go away. Damn it. What am I doing? Because of one girl, I've been doubting myself. Jumping from one solution to another. If I can't piece together my own thoughts, how can I piece together this case? I need to get a grip on myself. I need to keep sight of myself and the goal of this killer. Whatever is thrown at me next, I need to persevere. Because if I don't, if everyone else here votes wrong, I won't leave this place alive.
Has all this murder hubbub left your head in a tizzy? Perhaps you need a short break. Something to lighten the mood and let you collect yourself. Something like a nice cup of tea. Welcome, one and all, to the first
Aw!
episode of Tozu's Tea Time.
He's so
If you
cute.
haven't already, please sit back and relax. Here, we do not use our brains, but deal only in gossip. Now, a question from me to you. What are sheep good at, if anything? Most humans, and some sheep, tend to respond with a resounding absolutely nothing. Sheep cannot create art or invent medicine. For goodness sake, they can't even perform music. Their limited speech and quadrupedal locomotion prevents them from reaching the heights of humans. They're practically glued to the lower echelons of the food chain. No matter how hard sheep may try, they will never be anything more than their number tags. I can't say I like that answer. Too pessimistic for me. Plus, what of the sheep who still try? The sheep who realize their fate but continue to challenge it all the same. That they can be so determined to prove their worth when humans have all but deemed them microwavable meals. Isn't that something admirable? What a shame our sheep had to be so misguided. Hmm? Ah, it seems that's about all the time we have. Thank you again for attending Tozu's Tea Time. No need for extravagant farewells. I've an inkling you'll be back for tea sooner than you can say Jack Robinson. Who's Jack Robinson? I have no idea. Ta-ta!
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to stick around. Drop a follow, join the Discord, stalk the link tree, whatever you gotta do. But until next time, goodbye!